Hello, lesson number 26. I had a very good friend of mine, Wayne Maris. He asked me in the comment section of somewhere, Facebook, he asked me if I could talk a little bit about how to hold a banjo and how, playing positions so you don't, get cramped or something. So just a really brief. What I do usually, and here I have to sit a little, different because I want to show you, what I do. But when I usually play, I got the banjo between my legs, and then in the concerts I have a strap, on my actual banjo, and put it, around this down. I tie it down here and run it behind the neck up. Some people have like to have the strap, tied here, and the problem here sometimes for me is that it sort of push like what does exactly this, sort of pushes that here. It seems a little bit more secure. So I put it on the second hook here and run it around. And if I now sit, I just want the strap just to hold the banjo in place. I don't have much weight on it or anything. It's almost loose, but when I just hold it, back a little bit, my banjo stays in place. And that's what I do. Then I play. I don't have to just move this a little bit down so you can see it a little better. So, and I'll try not, my arm is not like that, or let him, very relaxed hand position. No, not like that. I don't play like that, or too straight. Sort of, an angle like that. Like I said, I always, I never thought of it really, but I noticed that my wrist, this part here is not really like this or like this. It's sort of somewhere in between, and it's really, so try to adjust your arm a little bit so where your wrist is not having to do this, like this, because once you do this, curve it in, try to close your hand and really grip it. It's not really comfortable. So and it's the same thing other way around. So somewhere here in the middle is you have just much more control. So even with a more straight, wrist, sometimes I can't avoid, stretching and having to do this, with the hand. Like for instance, if I have a large chord, let's say the little finger is here, the index is here. Well, it's difficult, I couldn't keep the wrist like that. So I have to go forward in order to reach that. And then I actually have a position that's not as ideal as I would like to have it all the time. But most of the time I try to keep the wrist, So then all of a sudden I have to open up and I have this. And then here is closed again. See, and here. And then let's go. Let's move something like. See, I have a big stretch, and then I instantly have to, sort of alter. And for a short period of time, that really doesn't matter at all. Also, for a few bars. But if it takes too long, and if my playing would always be like that, I don't think that would be a good idea. Then I see sometimes people holding the neck like that. They're holding really the neck in the. That's also a little weird, because then you get this little. Then you just don't have this freedom really to move around, and also the neck becomes really sticky. So just sort of thumb, just sort of. I move back and forth, between the two positions. A lot. I like the sound back here, even when it's played quiet. And I just move back. Same wrist here, when you look at my wrist, I'm not holding my hand like that. I'm pretty much trying to keep it straight because my fingers are just more free to move. There's a little bit of angle, but not much. When I started off playing, my pinky was on the head, and the ring finger would just move along in the air. like that, and I couldn't put two fingers down. Now, if that's the case with your playing, don't worry about it. I mean, like Alan Shelton, I mentioned him maybe in another video, maybe before. I was a great Alan Shelton fan always, I loved his playing, and he only used the pinky, down on the head. I actually, or Lynn Morris, she's just one of the most phenomenal people. I mean, she's awesome person, and she played amazing banjo. I think she won Winfield Banjo Championship at one point, and I met her, in the 80s sometime. We made concerts with her in Switzerland even. But I was astounded. Her pinky was behind the bridge somehow, and she played phenomenal. It sounded awesome. And so if your hand position, my point is that if your hand position is relaxed, you don't have to worry about it. Even if it doesn't look relaxed. Like J.D. Crow's hand it never looked relaxed. It looked like, well, that looks awkward. But I think he was really relaxed this way. I think when he slept, he slept like this. Like this. When I sleep sort of like this. So everybody's different. So you cannot go to the internet and look how do people's hands look and what is my hand position. The only right hand position is the hand position where you are relaxed, like you really just sort of put your hand out. Then I have to admit, I sometimes sit on the sofa and I sort of lean backwards and I have the banjo sort of in my lap. I play all kinds of weird positions sometimes for myself, but when I then practice something, I need a position that's comfortable and the position I'm going to perform in. So I'm trying to get a chair where I sit about as high as I do on stage, and I hold the banjo the way I hold it on stage, and then actually I practice the way I sit on stage. It's quite important because sometimes, you sit in a chair real comfortable at home, you go on stage, and the chair is different. You all of a sudden have a different position, and everything feels a little awkward, and your hands and everything has to readjust. So for just, noodling around and practicing, do however, just stay relaxed. I mean, happened to me that I fell asleep many times, my banjo in my lap somewhere in the night, in the hotel, or I woke up, a few hours later, just glad that my banjo didn't fall off the bed or something. But stay relaxed. Don't force yourself to any weird sort of and watch your shoulders. It's one more very important aspect. Let your shoulders fall. Don't do this. Try to sort of just let it fall because you're gonna develop a headache. I don't like standing with the banjo too long anyway because it's heavy, and so I'm lazy. I'm sitting on stage. So anyway, no, it's not really I'm lazy, but it's just more comfortable. I like to look at it. Yeah, it's fine. It works good for me. So I hope this helped. Good subject, though. Thank you for asking for me to talk about this. All right, take care.